there, I'm Allie Bradley with NewsNation, and today we're quite literally going off of the border. We're talking about a situation that you are all very well aware of, and you're all watching: the murder of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And one of the reasons we're talking about him on Bradley on the Border is because he was a massive vocal advocate for strong security at the border. He was very, very adamant that there needed to be change at the border under the Biden administration. He was one of the most vocal right-wing influencers, if you will, who really talked about the border and the issues that we were seeing at the border and the issues that we at NewsNation were reporting about the border. So back in February of 2024, Charlie Kirk actually reached out to me on Twitter, and he wanted me to come on his show and talk about the border and my experiences on the border. But we are a very unbiased news network, and we do try to be an unbiased news network, so we don't generally do right-wing or left-wing talk shows and things like that. And so we were never able to really get it off of the ground. But that didn't mean that Charlie and I weren't talking and weren't communicating. Over that year and 6 months, Charlie was regularly sharing my content. I know we have some of those tweets there that I would send him, some of my exclusive reporting or things that I would be covering, because I don't have a very big following. I have, 88,000 followers on X. And when it comes to the coverage and the importance of our work reaching people, we want it to be as big as possible, right? And so when Charlie Kirk, when I would reach out to him and ask him to share something of mine, because I knew it also lined up with something that he wanted to see on the border, he would retweet me, he would share it, and it would go from 1,000 views to 220,000 to 1,000,000 views. And that's what we were seeing over the last year and a half, is that support and that encouragement. He would regularly respond to my tweets and encourage me. He would regularly tell, his side of what he thought the border needed. When I would tweet something, he would include that. So we have a couple of tweets that he talked about, that he shared as well. One of them was about a raid in Omaha, Nebraska that we were part of, and he was talking about how the border policies and how under the previous administration that contributed to the issues that we were seeing at Omaha, where we saw like 70 people who were there working illegally, working using other people's documents. And so that is something that that he was commenting very regularly on. He was also commenting on Border Patrol getting more resources, getting more help, and Donald Trump saying, hey, we're going to make change at the border. And he said his money was on the Trump administration and on Border Patrol. And that is something that was very regularly seen from the communication that I saw from him. Is he would regularly talk about the border, what he wanted to see change, but then he would start talking about the change that was happening under the current administration. And that change happened very rapidly. We were able to see so many things transpire over the course of just the last several months since Trump has been in office, that the border is essentially secure at this point. So we do have some sound from Charlie Kirk talking about the border, talking about what he wanted to see at the border and what was important with that national security piece.
Right now, the southern border is being secured and it is being militarized. There are no more illegal entries allowed in the United States of America right now. It is right now. Right now, the evasion is over. It is over. For those of you that are sick and tired of seeing your beloved home be overrun by hordes of illegals, this is your victory. And no longer is this just a rally about what we say we're going to do when President Trump takes office. Now I can say what he's doing right now as we are here in this arena. As we are here right now, President Donald Trump is signing executive order after executive order, 200 executive actions and orders today, some of which include drill baby drill, curb inflation, national emergency on the southern border, and my favorite, that God created man and woman. There are no other genders besides that.
Now, when it comes to that support that I was receiving from Charlie Kirk specifically, that was something that many young journalists, many influencers, many journalists in general that maybe didn't have as big of a following, that they echo that sentiment, because Charlie Kirk really did help those individuals elevate their work. And you saw it all the time. You saw him lifting up young and smaller journalists who needed a little bit of extra eyeballs on their work and on what they were doing. And it is hard work, you know, down at the border, it's not easy. And so to have somebody encouraging that and lifting it up and elevating it so that it can get the reach that it needs, that was, I don't even have words for that. That he didn't have to do that. He doesn't know me from Adam. But you know, he saw my work and what we were doing at NewsNation, and that was something that he believed in. So we're actually at the memorial right now. I'm actually going to take you guys with me and show you kind of some of the memorial that we're seeing out here right now, because we've seen hundreds of people come to this area. This is actually Turning Point USA's headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona. And so this is where everything was happening for Turning Point. Of course, this was something that he started in 2012 when he was just 18 years old, quickly became the face of the conservative led movement by the young Republicans. And so this is some of the memorial that we're seeing out here right now. I know there's one part I want to show you guys specifically over here. It was really moving and really, really heartbreaking. And I don't know if I can find it now, but you can see some of these signs here that were being left. But under this, I can't find it right now. There are cards from little girls that they put their handprints on, and they were thanking Mr. Kirk for his faith and for his convictions. And so the memorial here is pretty heavily attended. It's been all day. People have been out here sharing their stories, praying. That's the biggest thing that we've been seeing, is that they are praying. Because when Charlie Kirk was interviewed and asked what he wanted to be remembered for, he said he wanted to be remembered for his bravery and his faith, essentially. It's exactly what we see when he was doing these debates across these college campuses. And we talked with many students down here who were saying that, you know, they went to these events, they were encouraged by these events, you know, and when they went, they said it was secure and they felt safe being there. And that's obviously kind of different setting than what we saw in Utah play out. So when it comes to, you know, his politics, his convictions, whatever you want to believe or don't believe, or if you liked him or if you didn't like him, when it comes to the border, he was very vocal about it. And he was one of the people who actually helped make change at the border because he was so vocal about it and because it was such a problem. I mean, there were around 11 million people that essentially walked across the border over the course of 4 years. 500,000+ unaccompanied children came across that border, and 300 and some odd are still 300,000 are still unaccounted for at this point. And so, you know, those were real issues that needed to be addressed. And again, regardless of the politics that you believe in or not, Charlie Kirk stood for border security. And that is something that we cover very, very extensively at NewsNation. And so it was very good to see him really embracing our coverage, our unbiased coverage as well, and sharing that across his platforms. Rest in peace, Charlie.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.